Our home, the Milky Way Galaxy, is truly a magnificent corner of the universe, even though we reside on its outskirts. This region teems with life, filled with countless stars, majestic nebulae, and diverse star clusters. From time to time, grand cosmic events unfold here, such as stellar explosions, confirming its dynamic and active nature. In the early 20th century, astronomers gradually began to grasp these fundamental truths about our galaxy. Yet, at the time, certain celestial objects puzzled scientists, mysterious patches scattered across the sky. These were faint and varied greatly in shape, some round, others elongated, and a few even displaying spiral arms. Even the most powerful telescopes of the era could not fully resolve their structure. They appeared only as blurry smudges, and so were simply called nebulae. The true nature of these nebulae remained shrouded in mystery. What were they? How did they form? Were they vast or tiny? Were they nearby or located at immense distances? Eventually, astronomers uncovered the key information about these cosmic objects, and this revelation, like a thunderclap, instantly expanded our conception of the universe, rendering it immeasurably grander. In 1920, two competing models of the universe existed. The first held that the Milky Way was the only galaxy, and that all visible objects lay within it. The second proposed that the nebulae were similar to the Milky Way, distinct, independent island universes. That year, two eminent astronomers, Harlow Shapley and Heber engaged in a spirited debate on the matter. Shapley argued that our galaxy was unique and the sole galaxy in existence. Curtis, by contrast, maintained that the Milky Way was merely one among countless galaxies. This was less a bitter dispute and more a presentation of competing scientific ideas, and no clear victor was declared. Both relied on fragmentary data, and today we know that some of their evidence was flawed. For instance, Shapley noted that one spiral nebula appeared to rotate, and concluded it must be small, a deeply mistaken assumption. Curtis, meanwhile, reasoned that if galaxies were truly vast and lay hundreds of thousands of light-years across, then other galaxies would have to be unimaginably distant. Yet, as we now know, galaxies are indeed enormous, and they truly do lie at vast distances. The decisive observation that finally resolved the mystery came a few years later. Using the most powerful telescope of the time, Edwin Hubble and Milton Humason studied the spiral nebula M31 in the constellation Andromeda. There, they discovered dozens of pulsating stars known as Cepheid variables. These stars are notable because their brightness varies in a regular, periodic pattern. Crucially, the time it takes a Cepheid to pulsate is directly correlated with its intrinsic luminosity, its true brightness, and energy output. This meant that by measuring a Cepheid's pulsation period, astronomers could calculate its distance simply by comparing its intrinsic brightness to its apparent brightness, as seen from Earth. The distance to M31 was determined to be 900,000 light-years, far exceeding any previous estimate of the Milky Way's size. Moreover, scientists detected countless faint stars within it, conclusively proving that the Andromeda Nebula was, in fact, the Andromeda Galaxy. At that moment, our understanding of the universe expanded irreversibly, and ever since, we have continued to explore its staggering scale. Over the past century, we have learned a great deal about galaxies. Each is a colossal assembly of hundreds of millions, even trillions, of stars. Most contain varying amounts of gas and dust. Their sizes range from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of light-years across, and they display astonishing diversity in form, which we use to classify them. There are four main galaxy types: elliptical, spiral, irregular, and dwarf irregular. We've already mentioned spiral galaxies, and it is within one such galaxy that we live. Spirals are characterized by vast, flat disks of stars, gas, and dust, with a central bulge composed of older, redder stars. Some also feature bar-like, or triangular arrangements of stars, and a massive halo of ancient stars. Certain spirals have prominent central bulges, while others have smaller ones. Most possess stellar structures, bars, that extend through the galactic center, much like our own Milky Way. Spiral galaxies exhibit remarkable variety. Giant spirals have highly ordered arms that stretch from the core to the galaxy's visible edges. Others have patchy or fragmented arms and are called flocculent spirals because they resemble tufts of cotton. Some display extended arms, while others are tightly wound and appear more compact. Their appearance also depends on our viewing angle. When seen face-on, spirals reveal their most beautiful forms, immense, expansive, with clear, easily discernible structures. Star-forming regions stretch like beads on a string, glowing pink from ionized hydrogen. Massive, young stars shine blue, tracing the spiral pattern, while lanes of dust align neatly with the arms. The central bulge glows reddish-yellow, indicating that star formation there ceased long ago. All the massive blue stars have already exploded, leaving behind only cooler, redder stars. When a spiral galaxy is tilted toward us, part of its structure is hidden. Viewed edge-on, it appears as a thin disk. Dust clouds concentrated in the galactic plane can split it in two, like racetracks running straight through the center. This phenomenon stems from the same process that flattened our solar system. Billions of years ago, galaxies formed from enormous clouds of gas. As these clouds collapsed, tiny internal gas currents amplified into overall rotation, which in turn flattened the cloud. By the time star formation began and the galaxy took shape, its flat disk structure was already in place. Elliptical galaxies, as their name suggests, are nearly elliptical in shape. Some are nearly spherical, like giant cotton balls made of billions of stars, while others are elongated, resembling cigars or American footballs. Unlike spirals, they lack organized structure and appear more puffed up. Their sizes vary widely. Dwarf ellipticals span just a few thousand light-years, while giant ellipticals dwarf even the Milky Way. Beyond shape, ellipticals are notable for their scarcity of gas and dust. They are populated almost entirely by old stars, indicating that star formation ceased long ago. All massive, short-lived stars have already exploded, leaving only smaller, redder stars, giving ellipticals a resemblance to the bulges of spiral galaxies. How ellipticals form remains debated, but current theories strongly suggest they result, remarkably, from galactic collisions. Yes, entire galaxies collide. When galaxies approach one another, their immense gravity, each containing hundreds of billions of stars, can pull them together until they merge. Galactic collisions are extraordinary cosmic events. Though collision speeds may reach hundreds of kilometers per second, the process unfolds over hundreds of millions of years due to the vast distances involved, tens of thousands of light-years across. During early stages, tidal forces can be extreme. Stars closer to the neighboring galaxy feel stronger gravitational pull than those farther away, stretching both galaxies into long streams of stars and gas. Most collisions are not head-on, but occur at an angle. We often observe them in profile, where tidal forces bend a galaxy into a long, graceful arc. At this stage, collisions produce bizarre and striking shapes. Sometimes galaxies pass by, then fall back together. When their cores finally meet, it's not like two cars crashing. Stars are so tiny compared to the vast spaces between them that the chance of any two actually colliding is vanishingly small. Yet gas clouds are enormous, and they do collide. When they slam into each other, they compress and collapse, triggering bursts of new star formation. These collisions often glow pink and blue from the light of newborn stars illuminating surrounding hydrogen. Occasionally, two galaxies collide so violently they pass through one another, but even then, they usually stop, and fall back together. Eventually, they merge and their colossal kinetic energy is absorbed by stars flung into wide, chaotic orbits. The result, we believe, is an elliptical galaxy. Not all collisions create ellipticals, however. When a large spiral galaxy collides with a much smaller one, it can tear the intruder apart and absorb it. Galaxies, it seems, devour one another. We believe most giant galaxies, including our own Milky Way, grew to their current sizes by consuming smaller galaxies, and we have evidence of this. Right now, the Milky Way is in the process of absorbing small satellite galaxies. Tarzan 5, for example, is a compact star cluster, possibly the remnant core of a galaxy consumed by the Milky Way. Two vast stellar streams encircling our galaxy are debris from the Sagittarius dwarf and the Canis Major dwarf galaxies, both torn apart by our galaxy's gravity. This brings us to the third major type, irregular galaxies. They aren't truly formless, but possess highly unusual configurations. All irregulars result from collisions. Though collisions follow physical laws, they can produce strange shapes. Sometimes a small galaxy plunges into the center of a much larger one. Its gravity pulls stars outward, sending ripples through the larger galaxy like waves on a pond, forming a ring galaxy, often with the intruder still nearby. The Cartwheel Galaxy is a striking example. Another fascinating object is Hoag's object, an enigmatic galaxy whose origin remains hotly debated. It's unclear whether it formed from a colossal collision or some other, poorly understood process. But one thing is certain, it is truly peculiar. In deep space, we also find so-called amorphous galaxies, classified as irregulars. Typically small and chaotic in structure, the larger ones may have been stripped of their shape by violent collisions, while the smaller ones may simply be too tiny to organize into a coherent form. Many galaxies are not solitary travelers, but are accompanied by satellite galaxies. Our Milky Way, for instance, has dozens of companions. The two largest and most famous are the Large and Small Magellanic Clouds, breathtaking objects visible from Earth's southern hemisphere. Both, like many satellites, are irregular in shape. The Large Magellanic Cloud isn't shattered, though its structure lacks perfect symmetry. The Small Magellanic Cloud has no spiral arms at all. Yet both are rich in gas and dust. The Large Magellanic Cloud hosts one of the most massive and active star-forming regions nearby, the Tarantula Nebula. Its star formation rate is so intense that astronomers suspect it may be forming a globular cluster. Beyond these, other intriguing galaxy types exist, such as active galaxies, which emit far more energy than normal galaxies. Importantly, galaxies are not evenly distributed across space. Instead, they tend to cluster together in groups and clusters, some containing thousands of galaxies. We'll explore this fascinating phenomenon in a future installment. Now, after all these discoveries, we can say with certainty, the universe extends far beyond our beloved Milky Way. Isn't this idea a recurring theme throughout the history of human thought? At first, we were convinced that Earth stood at the very center of creation. Then, as scientific understanding advanced, that privileged position shifted to the Sun, and later still to our own galaxy. Yet the more diligently we investigate these questions, and the more openly and honestly we engage in debate, the more we come to realize that our place in the universe is far more modest than we once imagined. Or perhaps, far humbler than we believed ourselves worthy of. Astronomy, that ancient and wise science, helps us pinpoint our cosmic address with remarkable precision. But its value extends beyond mere location. It also reveals just how vast, wondrous, and profoundly inspiring that place truly is. Today, you've learned that the Milky Way is but one among countless galaxies, each filled with gas, dust, and billions of stars. You've also been introduced to the four main types of galaxies: elliptical, spiral, irregular, and dwarf irregular. And of course, you discovered that galaxies can collide and grow by merging with one another in a grand cosmic dance. This episode was made possible through a fruitful collaboration with PBS Digital Studios. Be sure to explore their YouTube channel for even more captivating content. Written by Phil Platt. Script edited by Blake DePartino. Scientific consultant, Michelle Tholler. Directed by Nicholas Jenkins. Edited by Nicole Sweeney. Sound design by Michael Aranda. Visuals created by Thought Cafe.